Hello, everyone. Hello, Nick, Akshat, Sweka, Anjika, and Anushri. Welcome to Spiritual Youth Circle. Today, we'll be talking a little bit about happiness. And Nick, do you have any announcements you would like to make before we get started?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm missing anything. So Spiritual Youth Circle is this circle that we have. It's an open forum, so we encourage everyone, if you are okay with it, to turn on your cameras and participate as much as you can. You can use the chat as well, but this is just an open forum. You can discuss as you like, and specifically, this format is called Youth Circle. So whatever we talk about will be like an open discussion. So it's more of a free flow than what we've had before. So we're really excited to try it out. So yeah, I think it may be a good idea to watch the video first and then we can go into questions. Is that something a good idea to everyone? All right. Okay. So should I share screen? Right.
The pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is one of the most famous phrases in the United States Declaration of Independence and is considered by some as one of the most influential sentences in the history of the English language. All of us are searching for happiness. We perform all of our activities with the hope to increase happiness and eliminate all suffering. Have you ever tried to stop an ant when it's heading towards someplace? The ant goes through your fingers and works its way around the obstacles to somehow find its food or find a better situation. The various species of animals, plants, insects, birds, beasts, and humans try to find happiness in their own way. Yet despite all efforts to find happiness, we encounter so many anxieties that everyone is always looking for relief, a break, or a vacation. Even the polar bear, mice, and bees go into hibernation in the winter, whereas frogs and toads go into deep sleep when it gets too warm. Of course, they're forced by their nature to do so, but humans have the ability to choose their vacations. Sometimes we do find happiness, but it is very short-lived. For example, when we eat food, we feel happy, but after a few hours, we start feeling the pangs of hunger again. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found permanent happiness? Sometimes the happiness we find comes with its own set of miseries. For example, if we eat too much, it can lead to disease. Can anyone conclusively say that they've found pure, unadulterated happiness? At other times, the happiness that we experience is relative to our surroundings and is simply a mitigation of miseries rather than absolute happiness, which can give complete satisfaction within. Happiness seems to be simply a gap between two miserable situations. As the saying goes, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. When a person gets sick, the patient is in agony, but the doctor may be happy to get more business. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found absolute happiness? If we observe carefully, there's a distinct similarity in the way animals and humans search for happiness. The National Geographic and Discovery channels are full of shows about animals, how the different species of animals go about finding their food and how they eat it. We're also shown how the animals make nice arrangements for sleeping, how they build holes or intricate nests without any degree in civil engineering, and defend themselves from other creatures. By nature's arrangement, Every animal has been provided with some kind of defense system. A turtle, who's very slow, has been provided with a shell to withdraw. An animal with a fragile body has been provided with speed to escape. We're also shown how the animals procreate and produce offspring. Everything that we see in animal life seems to revolve around the basic principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending themselves. An animal may eat raw food, and man may eat cooked delicacies on the top floor of a restaurant, enjoying the scenery all around, but the principle of eating is common. An animal may sleep in the forest sludge, and man may sleep on Tempur-Pedic mattresses or on a waterbed, but the principle of sleeping is common. An animal may procreate in the open, and man may have elaborate arrangements for finding a partner and procreating offspring, but the principle of mating is common. An animal may defend with claws and teeth, and man may defend with bombs and missiles, but the principle of defending is common. However, humans do not find real satisfaction simply by pursuing happiness in these four activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In spite of technological and scientific advancements, despite possessing money, comforts, and luxuries, people are full of anxieties. We've reached the summit of material civilization. Mobile phones, computer systems, broad highways, fine cars, fast flights, and machines for everything. But people are still dissatisfied. The divorce rate, the suicide rate, depression, the crime rate, all of these are ever increasing all over the world, and certainly these do not signify any degree of happiness. History is filled with examples of affluent people who have everything that one could dream of, and yet have committed suicide or have lived in seclusion due to fear, or have passed away due to drug overuse. Why is man unhappy, even after possessing practically everything necessary for comfortable and luxurious living? Could it be that real happiness lies beyond the four common activities? One may say that animals also have a sense of discrimination. An eagle can sight its prey from miles away. A dog can smell and detect thieves. A cat has the discrimination to drink milk from the kitchen without being detected. Honeybees have a very efficient social setup in which the worker bees go for collecting honey without going on a strike, while the drones take care of the queen who begets offspring. So even though animals have some sense of discrimination, the discrimination power of animals is limited to and does not go beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The animals are not interested in life's bigger picture. The human body has the capacity to go beyond the four principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, to inquire into the causes of suffering and the destination of life. At some point in our lives, every human being, whether an atheist or a person of faith, has pondered, "I do not want miseries. I do not want unhappiness. Why is it imposed upon me? I want happiness. I want peace of mind. I want bliss. Why is it eluding me? What is the destination of life? What happens after death? Why is my life ridden with anxiety of facing and tackling one problem after another? Is this all life is meant for? Or is there a life of eternal joy that is never inhibited by sufferings?" In human society, all cultures, traditions, and faiths are founded on the principles surrounding these very questions in pursuit of permanent, pure, and absolute happiness. As the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra proclaims, "Now therefore inquire into the absolute truth."
Oh, looks like we have a few more new faces here today. Hello. Welcome, Yash. Welcome, Mahia. Uh, so, any thoughts on the video so far? What we watched? The Pursuit of Happiness.
Just curious, who made this video?
One of our advisors sent us this video. I can inquire into who made it. Yeah. But did you like it?
I thought the end was pretty interesting,
Uh-huh.
but it was kind of heavy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I one thing I was thinking while I was watching it was like the video, like our like our prompt today is the pursuit of happiness, but like the video is like filled with like very like deep and very introspective and interrogative questions.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I was thinking about it. Speaking deep and introspective, I was thinking about how the video touched on like animal discrimination, like not discriminating against animals, but like the ability of animals to discriminate, like their what's in their consciousness.
Yeah.
And you know, when I do reflect on that and I think about like what activities animals do, I find myself agreeing with the video that they're pursuing those four things: like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Like no matter what, that's
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
I have an example I think is pretty good. I saw this like on Reddit or something recently where, you know, like certain chimps learn sign language, right? But there are
Yeah.
scientists that teach sign language to chimps. So like they can acquire language. But the thing is, it's still up to them to decide what to talk about. And there's this famous chimp called Nim Chimpsky. It's like a play on a pun based on Noam Chomsky, the famous linguist.
Yeah.
And because he had a big vocabulary for a chimp. And he has the record for the longest sentence from any non-human. It's a 16-word sentence. I want to read it to you to show what animal consciousness is like. His longest sentence, Nim Chimpsky's longest sentence. Give orange me, give eat orange, me eat orange, give me eat orange, give me you.
That's so funny. That is one chimp who really likes oranges. I've never heard of that. That's really cool. You find cool things on Reddit. I do not. I always like whenever I go on Reddit, I always find like these controversial posts on every single topic there is.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. Like that's really cool. Wow.
Yeah. So it shows where a chimp's mind is.
Yeah.
Like even the smartest chimp, the chimp with the best vocabulary, like they're thinking about food. That's it.
That's crazy. I was also thinking about like that discrimination point where it was actually kind of funny because like they were like showing pictures of the porcupine with like the spikes and the eagle who can like look far away, and at the end it was like, and like a cat can drink milk without being found. I thought that was so funny. Like everyone gets like a really good like defense mechanism and like can be super sneaky and discriminatory, except like a cat is just gonna go drink milk in the kitchen. I thought that funny. Yeah. Any other thoughts from anyone else?
Can I share something?
Of course.
Okay, so I had to like, again pertaining to chimpanzees specifically, because I had to read this book for my biology class once. I think it was written by Frans de Waal, and he was saying that basically chimps cannot actually pass like knowledge like humans. Like they can't teach other fellow chimpanzees how to do something, so they all have to learn it for themselves. So like if a chimpanzee is like doing something, then they'll all come and watch the chimpanzee do the thing, because the chimpanzee doesn't actually know how to, like, you can't be like, this is how you do the thing. So it wasn't chimpanzees, but it was another type of ape, and like they were washing potatoes to get the dirt off them, and so one of them just started washing the potatoes, so the other people came and watched, like the other monkeys, and then soon enough the whole tribe was washing potatoes, and like now you see these random monkeys washing potatoes or wherever, but the monkey didn't actually teach them to wash the potato, they just came and watched.
That's interesting.
They watch and then they like copy and then they make their own modifications, but they can't teach like any of their friends how to do it.
That's really interesting. Monkey see, monkey do. That's really cool. Is this like an evolution book that you were reading, like biology and evolution? Like were you like
Yeah,
reading for a class?
I don't remember. I can look it up and post in the chat. I might
That's really
actually.
cool.
I don't
Interesting.
know. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
see.
but it's interesting because that shows that while they have the ability to copy, these apes don't have a theory of mind. Like they can't conceive of other apes as having a mind and going through the same experiences as them. So it just shows how limited they are in thinking of
Mhm.
higher topics.
Yeah, that's really cool. It was really nice hearing everyone's first thoughts. Does anyone else want to share?
We were talking about making distinctions, and I think that one way that we do make distinctions is making material distinctions as to what is good for us and bad for us. And that includes, like, it's obvious that doing drugs is not good for us, but it's also obvious that something like hanging out with friends can be good for us. But I think it's also important to make spiritual distinctions between what is good for us spiritually and not spiritually, what
Wow,
hinders our progress.
that's really beautiful. Wow, I didn't expect that kind of like beautiful realization. Um, yeah, totally. And I think like I mean I can also like say like I've definitely been like my mind has wanted to do something and like but like I know better than to do something like hanging out with some friends may not probably be the best thing for me to do. Um, but I would still do it because I'm attached to them. Like the mind is like there. That's really beautiful. Anyone else have like ever like had to make like spiritual versus material distinctions? Yeah. My Teams is blowing up. All right. So let me. If anyone has any other things they would like to share, otherwise we can go ahead and yeah.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I can go real quick. So yeah, this is just like my first thoughts, like while I was watching the video, like what kind of came off, like what was kind of going on in my head. So like I think in general, like the idea that like humans versus animals have like the four same fundamental things, like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That like I agree with that. Like if you generalize it, like it seemed pretty like on a very general level, it seemed true. But what came in my head was that like what is it like with humans that like, or maybe this is better explained in an example. So like, if you take like an animal, like maybe like an otter, right? Like they have like they make like their homes generally in like some sort of water, like a river, out of like wood. They have like, I forgot what they're called. Like they have these like little like elaborate shelters that are like there in the water, right? And so different animals have different types of, they make different types of shelters. Humans make like homes, right? And so in some cases it could be said that like what humans might do for one of those categories, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Let's take defending, for example, like weapons we make, bombs, missiles. That was the example given in the video. They, in some cases, in many cases, be more effective than maybe like claws or stuff like that. So I guess what I was trying to get at here is that like it seems like humans have something that like allows them to kind of create. Like, we went from having like these, going back to like the Civil War, like these basic like, musket rifles or whatever, like the bayonets, I think, to like these super machine guns and stuff like that. So like we've kind of been able to, I guess, like the evolution of like defending in that
Technology.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I guess what do humans have that allow us to do that? Whereas you don't necessarily see that with animals as frequently. Like, yeah, there's like general, I guess, scientifically, like there's evolution where like animals get new traits that are favorable for they adapt. Mendel, that's
Yeah.
technology I remember from like humans, but it seems like humans do it faster. So I guess the question I got from the video was like, what do humans have that allow them to do that?
That's really powerful. That's really nice. Um, yeah, I maybe we could ask like Anjika because she seems to know a lot about biology. But yeah, like I know you're a CS student, so you're always like on the cusp of like making and developing new technology. Like I'm like an engineering student, so I'm also like always seeing like how like the evolution of like computers and things like that. So I really agree with that. Like always trying to make it like faster, better, more efficient. And like, yeah, you don't see that very much in the animal kingdom. I mean, I wouldn't know. Maybe there were nests that were like 20th century nests, and now we have like 21st century birds nests. I wouldn't know. But that's really cool. Yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts on that? What do humans have that animals don't have that allow us to create more efficiently?
I mean, I think it's our big brains, right? It's just we're really smart. Like we have this developed prefrontal cortex that allows us to do
Um,
quite a few things that animals can't do. One, we like what Anjika was saying, we can teach each other things. And we can do that through language, which our language is way more developed than any other animal. Like going back to that sentence from Nim Chimpsky, he was kind of repeating the same idea over and over again. Like it wasn't like what we can do with sentences where we have this ability. This is from Noam Chomsky, actually, the person who he was named after, Noam Chomsky, where we have this ability called recursion, where we can stack ideas on top of each other. Like you can say, I'm going on my computer so I can log on to Zoom. Then I can go to the spiritual youth circle where I can talk to my friends for an hour on Sunday starting at 11. Like you can stack all these ideas
ooh,
in one sentence, all these prepositional phrases.
that's
But animals can't do that at all. They just like that chimp, right? He's just like, give me food, you me food, give you. Like it's
orange, orange,
yeah. Like,
orange. You glad?
and we can do stuff like that. We can there's like puns, there's poetry, all these abilities we have just because our brains are so huge. Plus we
Yeah.
got like opposable thumbs, so we can like manipulate the world in a way where we can create technology.
Or play video
Trying
games.
to speak I love what Anjiki was saying. She said that like animals have the ability to learn, but humans can teach. Yeah, that's for sure. Right? Like you can teach a dog to sit and like play fetch, but that dog's not going to teach another dog how to do the same thing.
Mm.
And then yes, she was saying like she's trying to speak Kenya, like it's a Elvish language from the Tolkien books. That's so cool. I didn't know you're trying to learn that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have two Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings fans in our SYC. Yeah, I really enjoyed what everyone said. Um, I think maybe it's time we look at a little at the questions that we came up with. Maybe we'll go with maybe we can do first a just a light icebreaker, like what makes you happy now? What's something that makes you happy now? Yash has his thinking hat on. Nothing makes me happy. Or what's a talent that makes you happy? Either of those questions. So, what makes you happy now, or what's a talent that makes you happy?
What's the second question? What's a talent?
Yeah, what's a talent that makes you happy?
Like a skill that makes
Like,
you happy?
yeah,
Okay.
like, well, yeah, yeah, well, yeah, that's like the idea.
Okay. Something that makes me happy is chanting, and that really enlivens and rejuvenates me every day.
That's really beautiful. Can I ask why? Why, like, I mean, I also have the same meditation practice as you, but not every day does it make me happy. Like, what about it?
That's a very good question. I think it's the fact that I can do something without getting distracted for a good amount of time, like an hour, that really calms my mind down.
Really beautiful. Like, oh, do you wow, that's really attentive meditation. I'm not attentive at all. Like I will walk and meditate or do stuff, other things. So you just like sit in one place. Is it like something you do in the morning that like sets the tone of your day? Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's really beautiful. I aspire to that. Yeah, that's really nice. Wow. Anyone else? Anything other any like other thing that makes you happy?
Yeah, I like playing music. That's definitely something that makes me happy. Whether it's like, more like material music, like I play in a rock band, or doing like more spiritual music, like playing kirtan. Like either way, it kind of just helps me get out of my mind a little bit and get into like a flow state.
That's beautiful. Yeah, for everyone who wants to know, Nick is a musician and he makes all kinds of music. And even though he says like he's like doing material music, like if you read like the music, if you like hear about the music he does and he explains like what the music means, like what he I remember once he had like a song about like social media and like its effect or something. I don't remember, but it's always has some very deep meaning to it. So it's really amazing. That's really beautiful. Yesterday, I just learned one melody on the harmonium. That's like the extent of my musical talent. Just one music, what's one like, with just my first four fingers. That's all I know. I mean, that did make me happy. I know a lot of people who like just like listening to like musical meditation, like really like makes them happy. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, or Anjika? Yeah. You go ahead.
Yeah, I thought about it. So I guess so. I'll go on like the material side, and then like I guess the spiritual side, because got to address both, right? So on the material side, I'd say like very generically speaking, food. Food makes me very happy. Food is very good. Yes. It could be like cooking food. Eating food is always great too. Yeah. And then on the spiritual side, I guess it's I think you could generalize it to like just like community service or like serving others, I guess. So like for example, if you're like making like prasadam or something for someone, or like doing stuff like that, like doing like I guess like the background task. That's like how I view it in my head. That just makes me happy. Like it's just fun to me, and like it's just chill.
Okay, I know I've been reacting to every single person, but like I've heard, I really like that one word you said, like background tasks. The people who do background tasks at the temple, at the mosque, at any place, they get the least amount of credit. Like the people like in the back, in the kitchen, no one sees them washing the pots. Like even like people who sweep the temple, like you see them, but the people behind the scenes, like in the kitchen with like the fumes and the mask, like cooking the food, they don't get the credit. Oh my God, I have so much massive respect for them. That's amazing. That's beautiful that it like inspires you. It's not for me yet. I'm still getting
I feel
there.
like part of it is like the fact that like sometimes you don't like I agree with you, like they don't like a lot of times they don't get a lot of attention, but that's kind of what appeals to me about it. It's like I don't necessarily want the attention. I just want to like be in my vibe, just do my thing, and like so that's why it's like appealing to me sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Like I have a service where I wash pots at the temple sometimes, and I I really like just being able to kind of just focus on the task, just like sing to some kirtan to myself as I'm washing dishes, and just like get in the zone. It's really nice.
it's so beautiful. You all are so inspiring. I mean, I also like that you like mentioned like eating prasadam and then cooking prasadam. So you're doing it like both ways. Eating prasadam is also a very big service. Just letting you all know. Yeah, Anjika, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Wait, you can hear me, right? Okay, great.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, I like learning and teaching. So just like I like getting knowledge and I like distributing knowledge. But what ends up happening is that people think I'm showing off so that no, I just want people to know stuff because I like knowing stuff. So I think that like if they know things, then that will please them also. So just like anything. And then like when I don't get anything to learn, I kind of go like I don't know like how to explain it. I go kind of
Is it
I
like
don't
that? Is it? I feel like is that like a flatline feeling?
yeah. And it's just like if I don't have like anything to do, like anything to learn, I'll just like literally pester my parents like sometimes like, hey, tell me stuff, please. How about now? And they're like, I'm busy, and I'm like, but I need it now. And then I'll go into like a Wikipedia binge search, so that'll last 4 hours. But That's what I do.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I wish I was like that. I am so much not like that. That is really nice. Like you just like learning and teaching. Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, you also like know a lot of stuff, like a lot of interesting, like nerdy kind of stuff, like in a good way kind of stuff. That's really cool. Um, Swika, you want to go ahead next? Hope you're well.
Yeah, sure. Talent actually that makes me happy. Well, I really like hanging out with babies because babies are like the most like pure, adorable creatures ever. I just love them. And like, yeah, and I just also like going and buying baby clothes for the babies I hang out with. Like sometimes I'll be at Target and I'll see like a cute like little baby jacket. I'm like, oh my god, like that baby looks so cute in this, and like $10. So then I'll just pick it up for the baby. But yeah, I just like hanging out with them because I feel like it's so like uplifting because they don't have any care in the world, you know? They're just happy to be with you. And then I also really like cooking and eating, like giving people food and eating other people's food that they cook for me. I feel like it's such a nice activity. Like just this morning, my mom made me some avocado toast, and she like did like a whole thing and like put raspberries and strawberries and balsamic vinaigrette on it. And I was like, I'm so touched. Because usually I make my own like oatmeal in the morning, but yeah, it's really nice. But yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, that looks really good. I wonder how that would taste. I'm actually not a fan of like mixing like sweet and like salty. Like even like avocados, I know they're not like salty, but like they like go into like this like they're of that kind of like thing for me. I wonder how that tastes. That's interesting. That's really cool. Oh, okay, so I guess it's my turn, and I haven't thought about this. Unfortunately, I should have thought about this. Um, I think one thing that maybe not like makes me happy, but just like kind of like steadies me is journaling. And it's not something I do very often, but like I try to like every day, like set some time to journal and write down my thoughts, and it really helps to get things off my shoulder. And it's kind of like a nice way to check in with myself to see how I'm feeling. And I usually always leave feeling better after I journal and get my feelings out, which is really nice. All right.
It's interesting. I learned of this skill called narrative writing, where if you have an event that you are like anxious for or you're fearful of, it's really helpful to write out what could happen in that event and the
Oh,
worst possible scenario, and then just read through that.
that is
So
amazing. I was actually thinking about this like yesterday, like something I have a big deadline in work next week, and I was like, what if I don't get it on time? What if I don't get it on time? That's very interesting that negative visualization kind of like helps you like get the thing out of your head so you can like be more positive. Never thought of it that way.
and like the worst possible outcome that you do think of, it typically is just an extreme of what would actually happen.
100%. Yeah, totally. I definitely had that experience. All right. Thank you all for sharing what your talents are and what makes you happy. If there's anything else anyone would like to share. Oh, I see Niharika is here. Welcome. We also have other questions. So we finished some discovery questions. Let's try out some. Oh, this was my question that I came up with. What do you think about the statement, happiness is just gaps between miserable situations? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And why? So I thought that was a really hot take. Happiness is just gaps between miserable situations. I was like, and the woman just said it with just like this like straight voice. I'm like, wow. What do you guys think about that?
I think it definitely is a very hot take. And that's just one way to view it. But I like you can look forward to those gaps in between maybe miserable situations.
Agreed. Looks like they're looking at the glass half empty instead of half full. Yeah. I also agree with that. Like you can look forward to still happy situations. You don't have to like, yeah. And I think something I'd like to share is like when I join like a spiritual practice, like often there's like a stress that we're above happiness and sadness, that we're not supposed to feel these feelings anymore. And I found that suppressing those feelings of happiness and distress to in an attempt to be like spiritual and above it has been some of the most difficult times. I felt even more sad at those times when I suppressed those feelings. Um, like just like in an attempt like, oh, this happiness is material or anything like that. It's just made it even worse. So I'm interested to hear more of your thoughts. I know Nick, you're unmuted.
Yeah. I was thinking about how, and I've heard this said before too, that you kind of need those distressing moments to appreciate the happy moments. Like if it was happy just like 100% all the time, it would become the new normal, and then you wouldn't actually feel happy anymore. So when you have this mixture of emotions and moods, you come to appreciate them. And you might even start to appreciate the sad moments, the distressing moments, because they can give you an appreciation for the whole.
I really like that. Can I share one thing? It's been, well, today it's like really sunny. I'm actually from New Jersey, so I'm on the other side of the coast actually, guys. So it's super sunny today, but recently the weather has been like really stormy. And I usually don't like stormy weather, but um today or like yesterday it was super sunny and I was like not feeling well. And I felt like the sun was kind of it's like sun is like a happy feeling for me. And I just didn't want to be happy. I was just like kind of sad. It was like I need some space to be sad. Like I need some space to mourn. I need some space to like grieve. And I feel like the winter, the like depression, like it gives you like a space to like just be in those emotions. Like it's like not like always like us light always there like trying to like pull you out of something. Like sometimes you just really need like the dark cloudy weather to like just like heal from. And I think that's super like helpful to me. Sometimes you just need that. Hi Soika, you're back.
Yeah. I like what you said a lot. I think it's true. And I think that well, I feel like if life was just a consistent stream of like happy events, like wins, stuff like that, then it would kind of lose meaning after a while because we start to like take it for granted. So I kind of see the tough times as like moments that make you appreciate the good times even more. And they all have their place, right? Like without the tough moments, we'd never grow, we'd never like, change, never understand the value of what we have. And I also heard a long time ago, someone was like, oh, happiness is a choice. And that really stuck with me. And I carry it with me every single day because there's always something that you can complain about happening right now in your life. And there's always something that you can be happy about. Like I also, someone was like, oh, if you can't think of anything to be happy about, like, just like feel your heartbeat right now. Like it's beating, like you're alive. And like it's working for you. And I thought that was so true. And so, yeah, you always have that choice. And so it's just like, what are you going to choose to look at? Like, are you going to choose to feel like, oh, happiness is just a break in a series of sad moments? Or are you going to feel like, oh, like I'm happy to be happy and I can wake up every morning and choose to be grateful and happy for what's happening right now?
Yeah, I also really agree with what Serby and what Nick, both of you said. Like the quote that was like in the question, it seemed to imply that like, oh, you're always like miserable, and then like there's like these random spikes of like happiness, and like I don't know, I never viewed it like that. I viewed more as like where like in a like people are generally in like a neutral state, and then like there's happiness, there's sadness, and there's also like this whole other range of emotions that you feel, and like that's fine. Feel them. It's normal. And like Shrika mentioned, like the good ones, like it's how you grow. Like when you experience something bad, like it is bad, but like you grow, you learn from it. And then when you experience something good, like it's good, like it's good obviously. But and then also what Surby said, so like sometimes when there's like that phrase like waking up on the wrong side of the bed. I've definitely just like woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Like I'll wake up, I'm just like, dang, I'm just mad. Like I don't know why. Like I have no reason to be mad. Like like nothing has happened, but I'm just like not in like a I'm not in a good state, right? So then but yeah, I think like I also like to like just kind of like isolate myself, like because if I know I'm mad, I don't want to like throw it on someone else. So I try to just like stay away from people, like just cool down for a bit. And yeah, so it's kind of like nice having those like kind of, I think what Survey said was like having like those winter mornings or like those kind of low moments to kind of help you get back to where you want to be, I guess.
I also agree, like happiness hits different after like a kind of low period. I remember when quarantine was like in full swing, and then like the first time it opened up, when I got into like that shared sacred space, I was crying and I like physically kissed the ground, like just because I was so happy to be there at that time. And I was in another call, and one of my friends, she was sharing how the first time she like met her friends after being locked away, like it was such unsurmountable joy, and it was unlike anything else. And I was just thinking, like in a larger sense, we've been away from our natural awakening, like our spiritual sense and consciousness. And if we hopefully get that opportunity to reconnect, like I was just trying to imagine what kind of joy would be in that moment. And that kind of kept me going at that time.
Wow. Wow, that was amazing. Oh my God. Like the union, like what is that going to feel like? Like the spiritual union, what is that going to feel like? Oh my God, I can't even imagine. That's amazing. That's such a beautiful thought. And and also to Yash's point, if I can just share, I have this like feelings wheel because I have way too many feelings. And it like basically, if you guys can see closely, it basically shows like all of like the feelings that you can have, and like it gives you like a descriptive word. So instead of saying like I feel happy, you could probably say like I feel overjoyed, or I feel hopeful, I feel positive. Like you have like specific words. So I think like yeah, emotions are such a like broad spectrum of feelings. And yeah, they're all beautiful. And I think like what Niharika, I mean, I would like to hear what everyone has to say before I ask another question that's coming up. Anjika, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Not really.
Not really.
A similar incident happened to me a few weeks ago. We went to the temple for the first time since COVID happened. So I don't know.
That's really nice. Our temple opened up their program a few weeks ago, and actually 1 or 2 months ago, and I remember like not many people came, but it was such a beautiful surreal experience to see everyone there and just to connect. It was really nice. Yeah, I agree. All right. So does anyone else have anything they would like to add to this conversation? Okay. So I was asked actually by Nick and Suega to ask this question just as is, without giving any sort of like background or anything. So I'll just ask it. It goes, oh, 1 second, I'll say this to if it's okay, I'm going to read out what Anjika wrote in the chat. She said, we were there with guests, so when I started crying, it was mildly awkward because they were just sort of staring. I mean, I think that's really beautiful that you got to connect in such a beautiful way. That's really beautiful. Yeah. I remember, if I can share, this is a little personal, but I remember when when our deities were first installed at the temple, our temple had not been like conceived of like after like 7 years. And it was such an uphill battle, like with like courts and lawyers and all kinds of things just to get this temple getting started. And finally, like in 2016 when it opened, there's just this picture of like the deities, like their eyes getting opened up, and there's just the sea of devotees just like crying. And it was one of the most surreal experiences in my entire life. It wasn't really like a depressing kind of moment. It was just like the prayers of these devotees had like finally come true, and it was so beautiful to see. I really appreciated it. So I just wanted to hold space for that moment. It was in the Plainfield Temple in New Jersey. You all should come visit sometime. All right. Okay. So thank you all for listening to that. I'd like to ask one more question. Yeah, I'll also come to ISV sometime. One more question is ignorance bliss? The question is ignorance bliss? I'm not gonna like preface that. I'd just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh my God, the way I've been dealing with this so much recently, like my little sister is unvaccinated, so we're trying to like stay safe and not go to many things and like events kind of and programs and like crowds. So I always have the option of like being there virtually while watching the recording, but like I don't know whether like it's hard for me to go watch the recording because it's like I can just like pretend that never happened, or I can like pretend I'm part of, I don't know, it's just like hard to watch the recordings. And then another feeling is when my friend, she like fills me in, actually Anushri is so nice. She fills me in on everything, like very detailed. And when she does that, it feels so good. It really feels like I'm there. So I think ignorance is not bliss, but it's hard to like face reality.
When you mentioned your little sister, I thought the story was going a little different way. But I think that's really beautiful. I was also thinking something similar, but I'm excited to hear what everyone else has to say. Hi, Anushri. We're happy to have you here. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I think I've heard kind of both sides of like this ignorance is bliss thing because it's kind of like, you know, that there's an example like when a baby is born, he doesn't really know that much, so they're kind of in ignorance. And like, um, the more like you know about things, you can also be like scared of them, so that's less bliss, kind of. Um, but the other side is like the less you know, like the less knowledge you have, and like the less you can like, um, yeah, it's an interesting topic, I think.
I'll share something I heard from this is from a spiritual teacher that we're all familiar with, who said this, that there are only two types of people that are actually blissful in this world. Yeah, it's the person who's completely aware, like has no ignorance. They know everything about like spiritual topics. They're very advanced, the pure, uh, the pure person. And then the person that's absolutely ignorant, that knows nothing. That person's also in total happiness. The problem with that is I think most of us are not in pure ignorance. So we don't get that benefit. It's actually like just like the absolutely pure person is a high standard, the pure ignorance is such a low standard that it's hard to achieve also. So like speaking for myself, I got a fair bit of ignorance, but not enough to avoid the existential situation I'm in.
Totally. I think that's like one of like the biggest struggles with my spiritual life right now is that I know where I want to go and I know where I came from. And sometimes I like, I don't know, maybe you all have this experience of like spiritual youth, but like when I see my friends like going to like a mall and enjoying their lives and going to parties and like they seem to have really a lot of fun. Sometimes I think, you know, like if I wasn't spiritual, if I didn't know about Krishna consciousness, then yeah, I would be so happy right now. I would go to the mall, I would party, I would have such a good time. But because I know like that's not the end of like the perfection of my life, I'm like stuck here chanting my rounds and going through all of this like trauma and trying my best to like be a good devotee. And it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Just like trudging through my 16 rounds. It's like not fun. Yeah. I totally agree.
I mean, just maybe I was already a little different from my peers, but even like before I got into spirituality, I did not like doing those things either. Like, you know, going to the mall, going to parties, like it's kind of fun. I mean, I don't like the mall at all, but like going to parties and stuff, like it's cool until it's not. Like until you get like the lows that come from the highs, the you know, the crash, the hangovers, stuff like that. Like it's bad news.
You guys heard Billie Eilish's new song, a new album? There's this line in it where it says like getting older in that song. It says like um things I'm longing for, one day I'll be bored of. And just like that, like just like you'll just love it and you'll want it forever and ever until like one day, boom, you don't want it anymore. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. Like I can tell you like a few things I'm longing for. And just to think like, yeah, I like in a few years I won't like want this. Like I won't care for this. Yeah. It's a really deep thought.
Yeah, I think about that a lot too, like buyer's remorse. Like I get much more enjoyment out of thinking about how much fun I'm gonna have with a new like object, you know, like a new, like let's say, I don't know, a video game or something, right? Like I'll read all the reviews and like build up this idea in my mind of what it's gonna be like. Then I actually purchase the thing. It doesn't live up to my expectations. I end up not really like I'll enjoy it for a little while, and then in a very short period of time, it's not fun anymore.
That's crazy. That's so crazy because I bought these. Okay, I'm talking way too much, but I'll just say I bought these turmeric color. Okay, please. I bought these yellow shorts. Okay, to wear outside, like these like yellow, like bright yellow shorts, like wear outside, and they came in the mail from Amazon. And I saw them on like the website in a bright yellow knee length, 100% cotton, which is amazing. And they came in the mail, and I looked at it, and it was this dark yellowish brownish color when it came in the mail, and I was like, I wanted this so bad when I looked it on the Amazon website, but when I got it in the mail, it looks so bad, so I just like returned it. Like it's crazy because I was like looking forward to that the entire week, and then I got it and it's disappointing. Anyone else have awful Amazon stories or anything else they would like to share, like regarding this ignorance is bliss topic? Injika?
Yes, right. But so like I was thinking like even this can happen with like people as well. So just like it's like say you're friends with like a certain group of people, and then like this happened to me, like we moved, right? And then I kind of missed them for a very long time, but now I'm like, okay, it would not have been good to hang out with these people because now that I think about now that I think about it, they were not the greatest people to be hanging out with. So you just kind of like realize after a while that it's not worth it. So you just stop thinking about it, and yeah.
I totally relate to that. I know some of us also relate to this like idea of like friendships and like things like just like changing once you change, like once you like move and shift in life. I think that's really beautiful. Yeah. Akshat, do you want to share anything? regarding this
I was
like topic?
I was thinking about what Nick was saying and how there are two types of people, and there's that one type of person who is in full knowledge, but he's also fully happy. I was just wondering, how is that possible? I just, is it, I think that it's could be because he maintains a perception of ignorance and that there's probably, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well,
I really like that
immediately,
question.
sorry, could I?
No, please, Vika.
Okay, yeah. Well, immediately when you ask that question, I think of the verse in the Gita where you say that like happiness and distress like come and go, like the waves in the ocean. But I think a fully realized person like sees that and isn't attached to either being happy or like being distressed because they're like more realized in themselves. And they understand that like it's gonna come and go. And like I also heard something where it was like there's only two people in this world that are like totally happy, and it's either the fully self-realized person that like completely understands everything and is situated in like self-realization, liberation basically, and then the other second is like the person in complete ignorance, like there's no mode of like or anything, just completely in ignorance, and those are the two people that are actually happy in this world, and everybody in the middle, yeah, they're not blissful. So yeah, I don't think that was a great answer, but I think other people can add on.
Well, I want to add on. So you said that how the self-realized person observes the comings and goings of happiness and distress, like seasons or like waves in the ocean. And I think on top of that, the way they maintain their happiness is by having a sense of gratitude no matter what situation they're in. So there's like a happy situation, they're grateful for that. There's a bad situation, they see the lesson in it. No matter what's happening, they always ask, what's the lesson? How can I improve? How can I serve others? How does this better make me able to do so? And when they have that mindset, when they can control the only thing that we really can control, which is the space in between the stimulus and the response, just in that little moment in between, they can always remain happy because every moment's an opportunity, even if externally it looks happy or distressful.
I also think that's like a very high level, Nick, to like ever like, I don't know, for me at least, like if something bad happens to me, like if I don't get like the internship I wanted, if I don't get the research opportunity I wanted, like the first thing I'll think is like, no, like this is awful. Like everyone is conspiring against me. Like everyone doesn't like me. Like the universe doesn't like me. I like that's the automatic number one thing I would think. So I think, yeah, I agree, like maybe gratefulness. I do want to share something like why I really like resonate with Akshat's question is because actually today or yesterday, yeah, yesterday, I got this ad and it was a video of a, you know how like YouTube sends you these ad like these very heartstrings ads. It was an ad about a girl who had like a very serious disease, like a very serious disease. And she was like crying. And like the first 5 seconds of the ad was just this little girl like crying and begging. And like she was like, in like sometimes like, I'm begging you, please save me. I'm like, now that I've seen this, like I don't feel happy. Like, why do I need to know all of this stuff that is going on in the outside world? Like already, like life is already so difficult. Like, do we really need to see? Like, I don't know this girl. I don't know what her story is, and I don't like. Honestly, like our lives are like too dreary to even like want to know more. Like sometimes, like knowing more, like more media, more news, more everything, is so. It's so depressing. Like at least for me, like I stopped reading the news like a really long time ago, which is probably not a good thing. Um, but I feel like now if I ever read the news now, it's just so frightening and dreary and sad. Like I don't even want to read. So I really resonate with this question that like, how can knowing everything ever make you happy? Like knowing everything seems like an awful thing. Like I don't want to know everything. Maybe like, yeah, I really resonate with that. that didn't answer the question, but I just wanted to share.
Wait, I like Nick's. I think that's a good question because like my thoughts on like the original question, like whether is ignorance bliss. Like I think Nick, like that's kind of basically exactly what I had in mind. He answered like I don't know. We were just in sync there or something. But anyways, like what the idea of like having like the way I see it is that if someone's like super there's like two ends. So someone who's like completely in ignorance or someone who's like not, I guess, completely in ignorance. Like there's only two people who are completely in bliss. And the way I saw it is that like I'll take myself as an example. So like I'm always looking for happiness through different means. Like I might, meditate, I might go play video games, I might go do this. All different ways of like me trying to like find happiness, find that bliss. But then like the person on like that high end, like the high standard, I see it as like they don't necessarily know everything, but they know exactly what is that one consistent source that makes them happy. And they only do that. And that's just how I view it. Like they don't look for happiness from multiple sources, which are unreliable. They use one consistent source. And that's why they're always in bliss.
That's beautiful. There's like this verse in the Ishopanishad where like the Vedas, they say like the person who sees everyone with the eye that like the Supreme Personality is in their heart, as well as their relationship, like Tatrakomu Hakashoka, like that person can never be in illusion or ever be sad. And I think that's really beautiful. They just have it. I think like Akshat like mentioned that like in his question, like I feel like he was hinting at it. He was like, perceive, like do they perceive it in a different way? I think he was just already like setting us up with that question. Beautiful. 6. Oh my God, Anushri, yeah. I'm memorizing it right now, so that's amazing that you know.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, agree. Like, spiritual vision changes so much. And I was having like a really hard time, or kind of a revelation upon why, when I was doing my spiritual practice or when I was chanting, I was kind of afraid of detachment and like kind of losing all my other goals and ambitions on the way to getting like the spiritual goal. And somehow it came into my heart, and I think it's through the mercy of like the higher sources, that as long as we're like making an effort and trying to inculcate that spiritual vision, I think we just have to remember that we are doing enough. Because at one point I really felt like I am not enough, I'm just screwing up everything. But somehow it was just like, you know what, you're slowly but steadily you can make progress, and just remember you are enough. And if you just have that kind of intention in your heart, then it'll keep getting better.
That's so beautiful. I really appreciate what you said. And I mean, I really enjoyed today's discussion. If anyone else has any last thoughts or last comments they would like to make, this is your time. But I just like to end and say, like, it was really nice getting to know all of you, and it was really beautiful. I feel like this was just like a youth spiritual support group at the end, really, just like supporting each other with our like difficulties and like queries, and just like our own like challenges in spiritual life, which was really nice. I really appreciated it. If anyone has any last thoughts, this is the time. Otherwise, yeah, it's 3:04. We've gone a little over time, but I really appreciated and enjoyed every moment of it. Definitely one of my favorites.
Thank you, Sarabi.
Thank you, Akshat, for joining. It was really wonderful. Please.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Make
Have a
sure you
wonderful
join us next week, where we're going to talk about consciousness, the missing link. So stay tuned. We got another awesome discussion topic and video next week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.